United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Guyer.
Here.
Trustee Spurling. Here. Trustee Bauman.
Present.
Trustee Youngerman.
Here.
Trustee Marisak.
Here.
Trustee Berzaska.
Here. Okay, and we do have a quorum this evening. Under public participation, the first item is a public hearing for the amendment to the annexation agreement for Marquis Point. So I will open the public hearing and ask Director App for a summary.
Yes, the property is under contract to be purchased by D.R. Horton, and as they work through the details, they are requesting an extension of the annexation agreement. It is set to expire July 1st, so this public hearing is to allow for extension of that annexation agreement for an additional 6 months. The ordinance that would approve that is on the agenda for later today.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board? Anybody here from the public wishing to make public comment on the public hearing? Okay. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and move on to item B for public comment is the, public comment period. This is the time for any member of the public to address the board on any topic that you wish. So I'd ask you to come down to the microphone. I think, did we have somebody sign in to speak?
We kind of covered it before the meeting.
Well, then maybe we didn't. Okay, perfect. Any other, anybody else for public comment?
You might want to call for a roll call on closing the public hearing.
Perfect, okay. All right, so we'll move on from public comment. We'll go back to the public hearing, and if I could ask the clerk for a roll call on closing the public hearing?
Somebody needs to move to close it.
Yeah.
So moved. Second.
Okay, go ahead.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Berzaska.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, move into item 5, which is the consent agenda. We have minutes of the June 10th Village Board meeting, accounts payable through June 24th, and the refuse report for May of '24.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Debbie.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Berzaska.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
And Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
All right, that carries 6-0. Thank you. All right, items for separate action tonight. The first one is ordinance 2083, authorizing the execution of a second amendment to the annexation agreement for Marquis Point, Ogden Hill, Graham property. This is waiver of first, passage on the second reading. Go ahead, Sonia.
As I said, this would be an extension of the existing annexation agreement that provides over the Ogden Hill Graham property, the Graham property being what is now Marquis Point. D.R. Horton is the contract purchaser, so as they work through getting their zoning approvals, they are asking for this annexation agreement to be extended. It will be extended for 6 months per the amendment as it relates to specifically the Marquis Point area and requirements. So we are asking for waiver of first so we can get this executed before the expiration on July 1st.
After the extension expires, are they then reverted back to the Unified Development Ordinance?
We will be looking at it with the Unified Development Ordinance, but their intention is to work with us to come up with another annexation agreement amendment or perhaps a development agreement that would last the life of their development. So they're thinking maybe like a 5-year term or 10-year term.
Thank you.
Cool.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Go ahead.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Berzaska.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Thank you. Item B is Resolution 2024-024, approving the plat of easement grant and the plat of easement vacation for Caris Center for Commerce Lot 1, Ravago.
Yes, as Ravago and the contractors have been working with ComEd to try to bring power down to the Ravago site. The routing has caused them to have to use some of what were designated as our village utility easements. So this plat of easement would vacate those easements and have it become just a utility easement that ComEd would also have rights to in addition to the village. So once this is approved, we can take it to be recorded, and they can continue working with ComEd and get those permits and designs finalized.
Any comments?
If ComEd uses this as a utility easement, is it possible that ComEd uses so much of that easement that we then have to find another easement for ourselves in the future?
No, EEI has been reviewing the design plans with it to ensure that there's room for both the public utilities that are the village utilities in there, as well as the ComEd
Okay.
line, so.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead.
Who made the motion? Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzezka.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer. Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman. Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
All right, that carries 6-0, thank you. Item C is ordinance 2084, authorizing the acquisition of real property and the release of claims regarding demolition at 218 South River Street. Waiver of first, passage on the second. Director Abt?
Yes, as you may recall, we were awarded a demolition order by the court for 218 South River. Back in April, we awarded the contract for the house to be demolished, and that has been accomplished. In the interim, the property was acquired by another individual, and they have offered to convey the property to the village via quitclaim deed in exchange for the release of claims for our demolition costs. So this would allow the village to sell the property outright rather than having for us to file the lien and then foreclose on it, on the property. So you have the claim agreement before you, as well as the deed, and once it's approved, we'll be able to get that executed and recorded, and then we'll be able to move forward with the sale of the property, which will require another resolution by the village, but we need to get this piece done first.
Cool.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzezka.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes. 6-0. All right, item D is the 2025 water main improvements, Boulder Hill Pass area. This is contract B, agreement for PSA design engineering. Director Wolf?
Thank you, President Browley. So as the board is aware, we continue to work on our non-revenue water reduction plan as part of our Lake Michigan permit process. So again, that water main replacement plan was presented to the board in July of 2023. This is the next area identified in that plan. It contains about just under 12,000 square feet of pipe, rough cost estimate of just under $4.5 million in this PSA for that design. Another major part of the scope of work in this PSA is also to encompass work on the SRF loan, which is the state revolving loan fund. That process is key for us to get roughly $20 million in funding. We'll be hearing from IEPA sometime in July to confirm that, but right now we are on the intended funding list for that money. So if there's
It's a
any
good list
questions
to be
from the
on.
board? I'm sorry?
That is a good list to be on.
Yes. So if the board has any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzezka.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
That carries. Thank you. All right, item E, Resolution 2024-025, authorizing the purchase of Motorola body-worn cameras and squad car cameras for the village's police department. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. You have in front of you the resolution requesting authorization to purchase the body-worn cameras and squad cameras for our squad cars and our officers. As we spoke over the last few months, our 5-year program has run out. We've already used the lifespan of our existing cameras. We were able to secure a $50,000 grant. Not a lot of money, but it was a state mandate that provided us at least a little. I got to thank Jen Maluski and her staff for bouncing back and forth with Armando and making this happen. We researched all our funding options and the best bang for the buck, and this is what we came up with. I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman. Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Brzezka.
Yes.
That carries 6-0. Last one for separate action, F, authorization of Qdoba UTV purchase from Decane Equipment Corporation. Director Wolf?
Thank you, President Brally. So the Public Works Department performs an evaluation each and every budget year on particular equipment and vehicles used to provide services to residents. So this year in the request for FY25, staff recommended approval for a Kubota UTV to be used for various tasks and services such as snow removal, mosquito abatement programs, spraying, right-of-ways, and other tasks. So the budget was approved with this item encompassed in it. So tonight, the staff is recommending approval for this purchase from Duquesne Precast. The village has purchased equipment from them in the past. We are utilizing Sourcewell for our procurement process, which satisfies the purchasing policy for the village and also the state requirements. So if there's any questions from the board, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Motion to approve. Second.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling?
Yes.
Trustee Bauman?
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Brzezka?
Yes.
Carries 6-0. Thanks, Mark. All right, on the flip side, we have no items for discussion. Is there anything new or unfinished? Perfect. All right, you can see future meetings there. No Plan Commission this month. The next village board meeting, Monday, July 8th, 7 PM in this room. No executive session. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee, excuse me, Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
Trustee Brzezka?
Yes.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling? Trustee Bauman?
Yes.
And that carries 6-0. We're adjourned. Thank you.